The following are correspondences between two Astartes of the Dark Angels Legion during the Great Heresy, Librarian Zahariel, stationed on Caliban, and his cousin, Chaplain Nemiel, assigned to Lionel Johnson's Crusade fleet. These messages were drafted and saved, but never sent, and have only recently become declassified for Inner Circle members.
Dearest Nemiel, I trust that this message reaches you in safety and secrecy, cousin. For I am in crisis, and Caliban itself faces peril like we never could have imagined in our youth. I struggle to accept it even after all that I have seen. Our home has become an unrecognizable industrial hellscape of exploitation and human misery. The people are in open rebellion, and perhaps rightly so, for millions are dying in squalid, grim, dark conditions. Our people suffer worse at the hands of the Imperium than they ever did before the descent of angels. If they aren't conscripted and forced to become Astartes or soldiers, then they toil in the endless manufactory districts, only to starve to death in overcrowded and disease-ridden arcologies. And that's if they're lucky. The beast may be gone, but Caliban is still full of monsters. Like, literally, the planet has warp worms. Or the planet is a worm. Or I am the worm. Listen, I honestly don't know. Everything's been a little fuzzy since Luther used some magic words to bring me back to life after I died fighting zombies, centipedes, and Terran cultists in this big crazy blood ritual thing, where we tried to take control of the planet's serpent soul so we could defend the people of Caliban from the Emperor's inevitable retribution. And, anyway, I was just wondering, how are you doing? Or if you're even alive. I love you and miss you and need your advice now more than ever. But I probably won't send this. Your cousin, brother, and best friend forever, Zahariel.
Yo, Z-Boy! How's it hangin', cuz? Sorry it took me decades to write this. I've just been a little busy with, drum roll please, being a freaking chaplain! That's right, ya boy's got a Crozius. Sunglasses emoji, eagle emoji, skull emoji, 3 exclamation points. Also, the lion and I are basically BFFs now, and he trusts me with all his wildest secrets. Eyes emoji, shush emoji. You'll never guess what kind of crazy moves Big L just pulled to dupe Horus. The dude's a tactical genius, on God. You have heard about Istvan, right? Interesting times, bro. Anyway, just figured I'd check in on you since you were always so helpless without me. Winking emoji. Sorry you got exiled and stuff. Chaplain Nemiel. These files have been declassified exclusively for review by members of the Inner Circle. Subsequent replication or redistribution of these files to non-Circle members will result in immediate excruciation at the hands of interrogator chaplains.
Loyalty and honor, brothers. For without these things, we are naught but the lost.
And the damned. Hello and welcome to episode 11 of the Lost and the Damned podcast. My name is Uncle, and I am the Damned. And here, once again, for our newest episode of this Horus Heresy reading series, is my dear friend, Faden Cross. Faden, why don't you say hi?
Hey there, I'm the Lost.
And together, we are the Lost and the Damned, exploring a new copy of Horus Heresy novels every month. This month, we are on book 11, and that would be Fallen Angels by Mike Lee, I believe. Yep. Yeah. This is an interesting book because it's two books. It's just
Many such cases.
This is just two different books that are in the same pages. I had some ups and downs reading this. I think it's a really interesting story. I don't necessarily love how it was written, but I'm curious what your overall impressions were, Faden.
I really love the plot of this book.
Yeah.
I think it is pretty good, honestly. I like a lot of the character stuff. I enjoy a lot of this book. I think this might be one of the more sloppier written books that we've read.
Yeah. It feels... we say this a lot, but I think this book needed a stronger editing hand. There were just some weird little writing things. Like one tiny little detail here. Like this is a very pedantic complaint from me, and I probably won't make this complaint again. But I found a lot in this book that like there would be strange little. I don't know. Like the author would get hung up on a certain word or phrase. Yeah, repeated phrases, repeated words. And not like catchphrases or fun things like motifs you would expect to see repeated. It's just like, he just keeps using the same words or the same phrase. Or like a person will be wounded in the knee in one chapter, and then in the very next chapter, another character will like lose their knee or something like that. Like it's just weird, like not thematic or intentional repetitions, just like feels like the editor missed this kind of repetitions. But I'm right on the same page with you in terms, like, I think this is a great story. I like this plot. I like these characters. I think this is one of the more interesting stories that's been told so far in the Horus Heresy. I just don't think it's being told very well at all times. And again, I think this is very clearly two different books that are only connected because the characters in the previous book were connected. And that feels kind of weird, too.
Yeah, I think it is a little bit that. But I don't know. I feel like the parallel story between Nemiel and Zahariel actually was kind of good. I like that it was split like this.
Personally.
Really? Mm-hmm.
I understand that this happens in a lot of sequel series, especially in fantasy or sci-fi with lots and lots of named characters. Sometimes you do have sequel books it's just two different plots that are connected because the characters are connected. But I don't think it was done very intentionally in this novel. We just mentioned the repetitions that seem unintentional. You think there'd be clearer parallels in the chapters, or clearer parallels between what's going on between Nemiel and Zahariel, between these two books. But I really don't feel that as I read this book. It truly, to me, feels like two completely different narratives that are only connected because they started in the same place in a previous book.
I really appreciate having more Nemiel's perspective than we did in the last book.
Yeah.
Even if his perspective is mostly combat in a lot of instances.
Yeah. You pointed out when we read Descent of Angels, which this book is a direct sequel to, that it really feels more like Zahariel's story in Descent of Angels. And I kept saying, this is a story about two guys. And I think it's because I was thinking so much about the book that we were going to read, this book.
Yeah, this is a book about two guys.
This is a book about two guys, yeah. And I like that you get more Nemiel in this one than you did in Descent of Angels, but I don't think very much is done to distinguish him as a character. Personally, I don't know. I just don't see. I don't see much from him other than his combat perspective, which is, turning a corner and firing his gun and then doing a cool spin move and swinging his Crozius. Like I don't get a lot of character out of Nemiel outside of his occasional moments of doubting the lion, but we can get more into that when we get into the plot.
Before we do that, can I tell you what I thought a Crozius was? Because I had no clue until I looked it up.
Oh, right. And it's barely described. As always, if it's a Warhammer vocab term, the author just expects you to know what that is. So what did you think it was?
For some odd reason, I thought he had one of those daggers you hold backwards, but are also kind of a brass knuckle.
What? Okay, that just doesn't make sense, Faden.
But
like at no point in this book is that weapon described in any way that matches that. What? How did you get that?
I don't know.
What?
It didn't really describe it, so I just kind of filled it in my head for some reason.
The filling in your head that often happens, just I have no idea how far into left field you can get. I'm always surprised. That doesn't make any fucking sense, but okay.
I mean, I think
a Crozius is just like, it's like a baton. It's a baton, a powered baton. That's it.
Oh, I thought it was like a little battle axe almost.
I mean, you wield it like a battle axe because there's the flared wingtip edges on the end of the baton, but
right.
It's basically just a stick with an eagle on the end of it that you beat people with. It's like a standard for a flag without the flag, and you're just beating people with it, and usually one-handed, so it's not quite as long as a flagpole. But yep, that's all it is.
No, I thought
it's
had
a baton,
a very long knuckle dagger.
That is so weird. Okay, well, it's not that.
It's not. No, it really wasn't.
Yeah.
Halfway through, I was like, I should look up what a Crozius is because it's 100% not what I'm imagining.
Yeah. Wow. So do you have your one sentence description for the novel, or
we should talk about the cover first before we get into that.
Okay. Yeah. The cover of this book. It's
there's a big sword.
Yes.
And there, we get a whole bunch of dark angels kind of standing around. Looks like they're getting blown apart by something. There's some giant rune thing happening.
This is a return to the Horus Heresy novel cover, which is just a bunch of guys on a battlefield.
Yep.
It's just a bunch of random guys on a battlefield.
Though we could maybe assume Zahariel's on the cover with the hood.
No, that's not Zahariel.
Oh,
what are you the one on the left? You mean with the pistol
and the Psyker hood?
That's not a nope. That's not a Psyker hood. So no.
I just assumed it was a hood, just like
nope.
a hood.
No, because the Psyker's hood is specifically described as being full of wires and crystals.
I thought that was on the inside, like one of those things.
So you need to look up a librarian, a 40K librarian, because there's a very distinct image to what that looks like.
It's not an actual cloth.
It's
hood.
like a piece of his armor.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the way it describes, I thought it was just like a cloth hood he pulled up.
No, because he doesn't do any pulling up of it, ever.
It just like gets knocked off.
It's described as very metallic throughout the book. It's often humming and it gets hot, and ice cools on it, frosts over it. Which, I mean, I guess that would happen to a cloth robe, maybe, but no, you're wrong. Nope.
I thought so here's the thing. I thought it looked like a cloth hood. But it was still metallic, you know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah, but it's not. So no, the cover is literally just, again, random guys. I think the one character you could maybe name on that cover is the Dreadnought you see in the corner, and that's probably Brother Titus, who's with Nemiel. I think this is a scene from the
Diamat.
Forge world where Nemiel's Diamat, Diamat.
Sure.
Yeah. I think that's what it is. But again, nondescript cover, hard to tell what's happening, hard to tell who's who. It's just Space Marines.
Yeah, the way it looks, it truly looks like they're standing around waiting to get blasted by whatever's falling from the sky.
Yeah. They're standing and posing.
They're standing and posing, and explosions are happening in the background. There's some runes on a building, question mark. Oh, no,
Runes?
is that...
I do not. Sometimes I feel like you and I have different eyeballs. What are you talking about?
Oh,
what
no, wait,
runes?
is that like Hive City stuff? On the top right, there's like a red orb with... That might be a planet with Hive City stuff. I don't know.
I don't see what you're seeing. I see
I'm
maybe a
looking at...
collapsing building. I see maybe it's...
I'm looking at the full
it's some
cover
heavy
on the
machinery.
Electricanicum.
I'm looking at it too. I'm also looking at the full cover. Like, I think you're looking at a building falling down, or I think that's maybe a ship crashing into a building or something.
Oh, what's those green circles? Those crop circle looking things.
I don't know. I don't think those are runes. I don't think that looks anything like symbols.
Yeah, they look
I
like
think it's
symbols.
just tech. I think it's just tech. It's just like wires or glowing lights or something.
Oh no! To me, it looks like symbols. It looks like incantation runes, things of that nature.
Okay. Well, I guess listeners, what you're hearing here is that it is impossible to really know for sure what the fuck is happening or going on, or where they are. I think that's the takeaway with this cover.
Yes.
Is that it is utterly unclear what the fuck you're looking at.
It's like we're talking
Space
about an
Marines.
abstract painting, and we're telling each other our vibes for it, and going,
Really?
"No, why would you see that?"
Yeah, it's
Now, I do love this sword. I keep looking at the sword. It's sick.
You barely even see the sword in the cover. Like, it's...
I don't know.
It's
sick.
okay. It's a sword.
Yeah, I don't know. It has like
You and I had very different experiences with every aspect of this book, I guess, because it's... Wow. Just a sword. Okay. Now are we ready for your one-sentence summary?
I don't know. I could keep talking about this sword for a minute.
Okay.
All right. Fallen Angels. One sentence summary. The lion leads his legion to glory, but his mistrust of others splinters their loyalty.
Sure. Yeah. It's two brothers, except they're not really brothers, they're cousins, and they have different things happening.
Yeah, I kind of broke the summary between planets.
Okay.
Or between storylines.
Yeah.
Do you want to hit Diamat first?
Yeah, sure. I mean, because we really don't have to go in the order of the book. I think you're right. We probably should just talk about the two separate plots separately, because there's virtually nothing that connects them. Virtually nothing.
Then we can talk about the epilogue, which is fun. But
yes.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of emotional and thematic resonance happening with them, but there isn't any plot resonance.
So that's where I'm really curious to see if you can point out some specifics to me, because I do not feel that emotional resonance or that connection between, because it's alternate chapters. It goes Nemiel, Zahariel, Nemiel, Zahariel, Nemiel, Zahariel.
Yeah.
And I just did not. So another quick note before we get too deep. I could not for the life of me find a digital copy of this book or a physical copy that was less than hundreds of dollars. So I only listened to the audiobook. I listened all the way through 4 times. Because I was so upset about not having an actual physical version to read with my eyes that I really felt like I had to thoroughly nail this one. And so I listened to it 4 times all the way through. And it just every time I'm listening, I'm like, okay, different book. Okay, different book. Oh, every new chapter is like, okay, I'm back to the other book now. So I'm curious. I'm hoping you can point out some of those moments to me that feel like resonance. But yes, let's start with Nemiel. Let's start with Diamat.
Yeah.
The far simpler plot.
Shout out to my library for having an interconnected library system for me getting this book. Highly, it's Go Michigan E-Library. Anyway, Tiamat. After hearing the news of Horus's betrayal, the Lion commands a portion of his legion to Tiamat to stop Horus from taking the Forge World. Nemiel has new duties as a chaplain. That includes being the spiritual heart of the legion. Upon arrival to the system, the Lion leads a risky space assault against the traitor ships. This gives Nemiel's force a chance to land onto the planet. Nemiel rescues the Dreadnought. Nemiel rescues the Dreadnought Titus and drives the rebels back. The Lion meets with the governor of Tiamat, Kulik, and acting Magos Arkoi. Arkoi?
Yep.
Oh, nailed it. That's wow. Look at me.
Yep. And while I agree it should be Tiamat, I will tell you that the audiobook and Warhammer fans, of course, call it Diamat.
Yeah, we're not saying that today.
Yeah,
I'm not giving into this one.
Yes, the British just have no fucking idea what to do with Greek pronunciations or Latin pronunciations. They just say, "No, fuck that. We're gonna do it wrong." Anyway, continue.
Also, the former Margos.
In Warhammer, the pronunciation is Magos.
Magos. I'll take Magos. The former Magos was killed. Nemiel realizes the Lion is holding back information and confronts him. The Lion tells Nemiel that Horus years ago commissioned weapons on Tiamat. The Lion orders Nemiel to secretly investigate the Forge Complex. This was all a trap by Arkoi, and the entire Mechanicum forces turn on the Legion and Loyalist forces. An orbital bombardment stops the jamming of the planet and lets the Lion land on Tiamat, where they build up their defenses. They survive against Horus's forces due to quick thinking by Nemiel. They hook up Titus onto the siege guns Horus built and destroy the assault party. The Lion confides in his brother. Oh no, this is epilogue stuff.
Save the epilogue.
We'll save that
for the
later.
epilogue.
Why do I have the epilogue stuff not on the epilogue? It doesn't.
Well, it's essential to this part of the story, though, so that makes sense.
It's kind of essential. Yeah. I mean, it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically Nemiel stuff. Is mostly dealing through combat, dealing with combat.
Yeah, fans like to describe Nemiel's half of this book as bolter porn. It's just it's squad combat for Astartes. That's almost every inch of Nemiel's story is squad combat. Some interesting things about Nemiel's half of the story. So one parallel I do kind of like is that we see Zahariel has become a full librarian in his half of the story, and Nemiel has become, as you pointed out, a chaplain, which is a funny term for an army that is
in religion.
Yeah, intensely anti-religion. But that is what it is. They're chaplains. Just wait until you find out who instituted the chaplaincy amongst the legions. That'll come up later in a different book.
Do I know this person?
Yes, you do.
All right.
So we've got chaplains. Nemiel is the spiritual leader of his forces, and just like Zahariel is like the ancient, rooted connection to the world of Caliban for his.
Well, a spiritual leader, but one of Caliban and not of the Imperium.
Yes, exactly. So I do like that. I like that it becomes clear in Nemiel's half of the story that the Lion is absolutely a flawless warrior and a tactical genius, and just fundamentally does not understand people outside of what they will do in a combat scenario. He does not understand people. And there is one really cool moment in Nemiel's story where like the Lion is like honestly asking him about like the perspective of humans on something, because he really is unsure of his own evaluation. And Nemiel's like, that's interesting. The Lion really just doesn't know what it is to be a human. I liked that. And you and I were talking a bit before the recording about the squad dynamics and one particular character in Nemiel's squad who is bad in a fun way. It's like, bad movie fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get another Torgat in Cole.
Yeah. Yep.
But
if you like Warhammer combat, there's lots of that.
I actually want to circle back to Nemiel realizing that the Lion kind of doesn't have it in the way of like social communications.
Yeah.
And not even that, but just the realization that Nemiel has about the Lion in general. I had this page marked out. But then it hit Nemiel. Johnson hadn't united Caliban.
Yeah.
The plan was his, but the person who convinced the knightly orders and the noble families to put aside their ancient traditions and unite under Johnson's banner was Luther. It had been his oratorial skills, his personal charisma and sense of diplomacy, and above all, his keen insight into human nature that had allowed him to forge the grand alliance that had changed the face of Caliban. Johnson, by contrast, had spent his early years alone, living like an animal in the depths of the North Wilds, one of the most forbidding and inaccessible wildernesses on the planet. Sometimes this book is written just strange. But yeah, Johnson doesn't have any social skills, never really learned them, and just had Luther do all of it for him.
Yeah, and that is a point that's made like 3 times on the Zahariel half of the story when you're with Luther all the time.
Yes.
That it is very clear that the Lion could never have united Caliban by himself, and Luther is the man. We'll talk more about Luther and Zahariel's half of the story, but I think there's a famous line in Warhammer that's Magnus did nothing wrong, and we get to that in the next book, Book 12. I think you can much more easily make the claim Luther did nothing wrong. I love Luther. I think he's a killer character.
I mean,
he's the absolute standout star of this show.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure.
And maybe that's the more interesting part about the Nemiel half of the story is that the Lion, by contrast, is more of a MacGuffin than a character. He's just this magical thing that shows up and solves certain problems. Boy, I can't wait to talk about the epilogue because that really reveals so much about the Lion.
Well, and also the Lion, even in this beginning assault against the ships, it's an extremely risky plan that barely works. It's just by luck, honestly.
Or tactical genius, which is, usually just having just enough predictive ability and combination with luck, finding a way to get what you need. That actually does remind me of one other point I'm glad I didn't forget to mention. Really funny to me, I think it's like 3 times in this book it's mentioned that the great tragedy of Istvan is that 12 billion people have been killed. That's really funny to me. Like when the Lion first announces to Nemiel and the other people of his command squad that he goes to about the Horus Heresy happening, he's like 12 billion people have died. And everybody's like, oh my god. Like, at no other point in this series is that what's tragic about Istvan. Like, everybody's like, oh my god, Horus betrayed us. That 4 legions have turned their back on the Imperium. That's insane. This is crazy. Who would have thunk it? That's so crazy. I don't believe it. And then in this book, it's, no. Innocent people have died. Can you believe that? Billions of innocent people have died? When... that's crazy because in this book, the point is also made that the Imperium just naturally leads to lots of people dying, like just when it's operating normally. So like millions of people die in oppressive conditions. Again, that's Zahariel's half of the story, but like I don't know.
That's bureaucratic death, though. That's not the tragedy of war.
Yeah,
which I think
that
it
was
is
an
kind
interesting
of
note to me.
Interesting, yeah.
An interesting point of contrast, yeah.
And I wonder if it's because of those knightly orders that pride themselves on the protection of the innocents, and that's the DNA of Caliban in the Legion still,
Yeah. So for the Nemiel half of the story, as I mentioned, it's largely bolter porn. I'm curious what you felt about the combat in this book, because usually those are your least favorite portions of the Warhammer books, are the combat sequences, and this to me read as particularly crunchy Warhammer combat. Then he pivoted 60 degrees and fired at a right angle. 3 rounds, and then 2 of the rounds hit and 1 missed, and so he had to spin to his right as another enemy was approaching. Good thing he called in for a radio flanking maneuver. Blah 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 blah. It's very specific, detail, moment to moment combat. How did you like that?
This is the best it's ever worked for me.
Okay,
and I
that's
actually
interesting.
legitimately enjoyed it and was blowing through it.
You and I really had different experiences with this book. It's just usually I'm okay with the combat sequences. I kind of enjoy them. These bored me for the most part.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just I think something I think about a lot when we read Warhammer books is how detailed in combat it gets, and how it just doesn't feel grimdark at all. This is the grimdark universe. In Nemiel's combat deployment, their first deployment to Damat, their drop pod crashes through a habitat building, a building where civilians live, and it's crushed through 20 stories of building down into the basement. And every time I read that sequence, I was like, man, why can we get some description of the civilian loss here on these crazy overarching battlefields that the Nemiel half of the story takes place across, all this death and destruction and brutality, and the good guys, the liberators, are crashing through habitation units on their approach to the battlefield,
So I kind of read Damat a little differently, where it's it's already kind of bombed to fuck already.
I mean, it is.
And so we're fighting on already a ruined battlefield.
Yeah, I mean, it is. That is the case. That is the plot. I'm just saying it's a missed opportunity. There are still lots of civilians alive, or there are still some civilians alive. There are still loyalist forces fighting on the battlefield, and I don't know. It just felt like a missed opportunity jumping right into combat. I don't know. I just want just a few moments, just a moment more here or there of this whole universe is overwhelmingly horrible. Or even the good guys, end up killing lots of innocent people. We do get
I feel like that's
more on the Zahariel.
A lot of the Zahariel stuff,
Yeah, and I think that's just why I so much preferred the Zahariel half of this story to the Nemiel half of the story. I think all of the interesting ideas are there. The combat sequences felt very repetitive to me personally, and in many ways they are. It's kind of the same battle scene multiple times. The enemy has APCs and autocannons. We have our Astartes infantry, and the Melta gun is going to be a huge point of focus for that squad and what it's doing. And it's a lot of fighting APCs or taking command points with the same squad of dudes. And then later an infiltration mission that's a little bit more interesting. But most of the combat at the beginning of the Nemiel section of the story, and then again at the end, felt just very repetitive to me. And anytime a guy died or took a serious wound, I did not care at all. So I don't know. It was fine. It wasn't bad. It's not badly written combat. Maybe just because I thought all of the Zahariel stuff was 10 times as interesting, it just stood out as particularly boring to me.
Yeah, there is an unfortunate gravity to the Zahariel stuff that does make the Nemiel stuff feel lesser in some way. And the thing I kind of enjoy about the combat is I feel like there's distinct movements of the battlefield happening with the way their objectives keep changing and updating, and wrinkles are thrown in, we need the Dreadnought. The Dreadnought's pod is completely fucking trapped through concrete and rubble and shit. And there is a sense of tactical waves I feel like we haven't had, where people are legitimately doing actual like guerrilla hit and run wave attacks.
Yeah. It's so I
Instead
okay.
of just full charging into each other as if you have all your action figures just going in tidal waves.
You're making a good point here that the combat is much more tactically described, much more realistically described, and that is a thought I had. This is a good point that I didn't write down that I should have. That the one positive aspect to this combat is that sense of success with complications. Like there's almost never a pure success. Like we have a plan, we're going to execute it, it goes exactly the way we want it to, and then we move on to the next objective. The wrinkles, as you described it. There's a wrinkle to almost every beat of combat, and that's cool. I like that. I like seeing characters react. So you get to see more of who they really are, as opposed to just we're going to do this and then they describe doing it. Which is, I think, how combat works in a lot of other Horus Heresy books and Warhammer books in general. You're right. In this one, we see reactive combat. We see changing battlefields. So yeah,
these
that is a really positive quality.
Less durable too, in some way. They feel like they're more capable of dying.
Yeah, and they don't even fight actual Astartes until the very, very end of the book. They're just fighting other human beings and mechanized infantry and stuff. And that, I think that always a good move in Warhammer when characters feel more vincible.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that added to kind of the grimdark feel for me is the
Astartes can die.
Yeah, just the Astartes can die. They're not, even when they go into the comas, they feel like these people aren't coming out of comas for years. They're like, they're not, and when they come out, they're not going to be able to do shit.
And that's something that actually gets emphasized like almost immediately because of the very, very opening prologue scene with, again, Zahariel. You see the first people to get disembarked from the returning Calibanites to Caliban are all of the wounded that are in comatose states, that are still in comas after months and months and months on board their ships returning to Caliban. And it's important that they get them to the apothecary in Alderuk first. So yeah, like right from the beginning, the stakes that Astartes can be seriously wounded and killed, and it takes a long time for them to recover. It's not just like slap a Band-Aid on it, Mary Sue can continue saving the day.
It's not Sons of Horus stuff, right?
Yeah,
this isn't Loken and all of them.
But we do have a Torgadon.
We do have a Torgadon.
Cole. Sergeant
Cole's
Cole.
here.
Yeah.
He's here to make jokes. He's here to maybe be the best Torgadon in the entire series. I don't know why. Cole worked for me really well.
Yeah, I thought that was funny too when you pointed that out, that you enjoyed Cole so much when his jokes are so bad. Oh my god, the first moment where he makes all the other characters crack up, and they're like, oh, that'll be the day when Sergeant Cole is agreeable. And he says, that's the stupidest idea I've ever heard. Or, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And everybody laughs. Okay.
See, I think part of Cole's charm for me is he isn't overused like all the other Torgadon likes are.
Sure.
And it also feels like the timing is better on his bad jokes.
Yeah. And also, it's less that he's your buddy, and it's more of the classic drill sergeant and or drill instructor and or rough and tumble gunny sergeant who everybody's afraid of and doesn't want to be scolded by, and yet looks up to and looks to for a sense of lighthearted encouragement. The classic character in war movies.
He's also the strict uncle who doesn't. We'll crack a joke, but you kind of never know when they're coming, and you never know if they're serious or not.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
Some good stuff there.
For some reason, Cole worked for me. I'm not saying he's that different, because he's still virtually the same.
Yeah.
I love when they meet the Praetorians and they get into combat right away.
Oh yeah, hey, we're here to save you, and then immediately the Praetorians attack them. The Adeptus Mechanicus elite troopers are called Praetorians.
They're scary.
They are kind of scary. There's some good grimdark in there, and how they're described as having all these, hardcore adrenal shunts and wires and tubes sticking out of them that pump high dose chemicals into them that make them better at combat, and also literally eat them alive while those chemicals are pumping through them. Like their muscles will dissolve.
You can set them on hyper mode where they'll just die soon after, but they'll go crazy.
Yeah, they'll feel no pain, and they'll be almost Astartes levels of combat capable.
Also, they're all barcoded, which, good for inventory management.
That's like, it's described. It's like in the places where you'd expect to see battle honors or medals, they just have barcodes. Yeah, I do like that.
It rules.
Nice bit of flavor there. The betrayal of the Mechanicus is unbelievably obvious, I think. Like, just so easy to see coming.
It is, but it's also just scary too in a way. Like, the Mechanicum is a very terrifying force in this universe at this moment.
Yeah, I like that the Lion points out early in this campaign that at no point has the Mechanicus ever been obligated to let any other Imperials know what their defense capabilities are.
Yep.
Like, even Primarchs do not know the full defensive capabilities of Forge Worlds. That is kind of interesting. That you really see that full autonomy here, which stands out quite, in a lot of contrast to how the Mechanicus works in 40K. They have a little bit less autonomy in 40K. I don't know.
We're in the era where the Eagle means the Mechanicum and the Imperium,
Yes. I do like the infiltration mission a lot more than the other combat missions when they're trying to sneak into their allies' compound, because
it's good.
First of all, that's just an interesting concept. Like, the Lion knows that he's being lied to. He doesn't know to what extent he's being lied to or why, so he sends in an elite squad to infiltrate their allies and find out, hey, do you actually have these siege weapons that I know you have and you told me you don't have?
This is just Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
They're sneaking in the Shadow Moses to find the nuclear weapon.
Yes, that is exactly it. The big, scary, nuclear-capable mobile weapons platform.
The siege gun might as well be that.
Yeah, it is exactly that. It's interesting infiltration mission. You see an interesting character moment when the tech marine that's with them overloads his suit's power functions to disable temporarily a laser turret that might have killed them all, and it almost completely kills him. It fries him, and Nemiel's like, "You could have told us that it would kill you." He's like, "Yeah, it didn't seem relevant, man." And he's just giggling through it. I don't know. Some good character moments there. And then when we finally, the scene where Nemiel and the others, they find the siege guns, and they also find all the missing personnel that they've been looking for a while, hanging from, I guess hundreds, maybe thousands of people hanging from chains above the siege weapons, dripping blood down onto them.
Silent Hill ass body shop.
Yeah, pretty creepy. And I like that it's never directly stated, but it's being strongly hinted that the Mechanicus was. They were planning on installing demons into these siege guns.
Oh yeah.
And that's a pretty crazy thought.
I assume the Dark Mechanicum is just full demon moded.
Yes, the Dark Mechanicum basically just the only difference between Mechanicum and Dark Mechanicum is Dark Mechanicum realizes we can use warp stuff in our technology, which just means download a demon into the robot and it'll fight gooder.
Download a demon into the human instead of just download a human into the machine.
Yeah, exactly.
One of my favorite parts of the betrayal reveal, quote unquote, is that the question for me was always, are they going to be able to stop whatever their plan is in time? And I think it's so interesting that the book says, no, absolutely not. The plan was already implemented basically 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, that was an interesting little twist, is because Nemiel basically says, we still have time, or we might still have time. And like the next line is, but they were 10 minutes too late.
Yep.
Yeah, and the Skitarii have embedded themselves in every single loyalist military unit, and they have successfully pulled off their surprise attack ambush, killed a bunch of Astartes, almost all of the loyalist ground troops who are non-Astartes.
It's so good. It's great.
Brutal,
I love
pretty
this
dark.
shit. And that's why it also works for me, because it is obvious. You're right. They set up this guy to be suspicious as fuck, especially since if you're reading the books in order that they come out, you know the Mechanicum's in play like this.
Yeah.
And it just plays on that dramatic tension really well.
Yeah, the dramatic irony of we know it, but they don't. Yeah.
Right. It's good. I think it works extremely well for this. I mean, and they'll hit dramatic irony in a much funnier way, but really hard in the end.
Yes, absolutely.
Another point I wanted to bring out about the... another point of resonance with Zahariel's story is the investigation of a warehouse, of a factory, of finding out what happened here.
Okay.
And how this was already another trap.
More of an
basically.
aesthetic parallel than anything else, but
Yeah,
I see it. I see it.
Zahariel and Nemiel are both going through similar trials aesthetically, but the
Sure.
core of the character of it is changed.
Yeah. I will buy into that. I will accept that.
I think it's important that they're coming at the same problems kind of in different configurations and coming to different conclusions.
Sure. Betrayals within betrayals.
Yeah.
And lies that they didn't see coming while they're dealing with lies that are right in front of them. Yeah, that's something we do see in both stories.
It's just, again, the issue is the Nemiel stuff is it's all in combat. It's all laced with, attack pattern Epsilon Delta.
Yeah. I think that might even actually be an exact phrase in this book.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
But what makes this book good is, unlike the other times they say that in these books, you actually see what the attack pattern is, which is they line up
Sure.
with bolt pistols and they do like tactical retreats and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, take a shot, 5 steps back. That's in Zahariel's story.
Yeah, that's in Zahariel's story, but they do the damn thing in this.
Yeah, they do.
I literally wrote in my notes, I wish I knew what that actually meant. And then the next note is, oh no, never mind, thank you.
Hell yeah.
The Lion's bad at this, by the way. Also.
So what do you mean by that?
I mean, they were all gonna die. They were all about to die. And he almost refused to let Nemiel help because of his mistrust of others.
I would say yes. I think the one thing going for the Lion is that he really had no reason to believe, or I mean, I guess he should have been a little more suspicious, especially considering how paranoid he is in general. But like, I think that the fact that the Mechanicum were also traitors is something that would have been really hard for him to see coming. I think his original plan approaching Diamat works well if the Mechanicum are not traitors.
It's not even that. It's more the post the Mechanicum turning and the Lion retreats after launching a big orbital strike and killing the Magos.
Yeah.
Just fucking obliterating that man. He like comes down and he almost doesn't listen to Nemiel's idea to hook Titus up into the siege gun.
He doesn't.
He says,
I don't remember that.
He wants us to destroy the siege gun, and he was like very like adamant on, instead of trying to use them, we just straight up destroy them, and that would have killed them.
That's not how I read that at all. I read that sequence as we like the Lion's like, well, we came here to secure them, but it's better to destroy them. Let's just destroy them. And then Nemiel is like, well, hang on, I think I have an idea. And then talks to Tech Marine and then, confirms we can do this. And then they just they do it. Like I
They
can
do
you,
it, but the lion is
at what point is the lion saying no? I don't remember that.
the lion more just says, "I think we should destroy them instead of trying this because if we fail, then it's game over."
Does he say that though? I don't.
I thought he said something similar. I could be wrong. I only went through this once.
Yeah, I've read it 4 times. I don't think the lion says no. I don't remember that. I think he tells Nemiel we need to destroy them, and then going to check them out, Nemiel has this realization that we could maybe sink Titus into them, or up with the MIU, and then they just do that. But maybe I missed something.
And also, I think I maybe just am reading into what the lion's saying. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because this also kind of happened when we talked about this book last time, where I just had the sensation that the lion knew what Luther did.
Yeah. I
Or
think you're reading too much into it, but yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure, probably. No,
Yeah.
I imagine a lot of these little what's in between the lines things all the time.
Yeah. I don't have anything else to say about Nemiel's half of the story. I'm surprised I had this much to say about it, honestly.
It's because I enjoyed it so much, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Lion just kind of sucks. He only succeeds due to the people around him and doesn't realize it.
Yeah, I think all of the Primarchs have pretty clear tragic flaws, and the Lion's is overwhelmingly almost always his insane pride. He
Wait,
is
a lion
the first,
has pride?
right? Ha 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 ha. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty obvious, and especially when we get to the epilogue.
It's interesting though, because another aspect of the lion is he somehow feels the most human at times when he like mentioning the loss of innocence is the worst part about all of this, but also the most inhuman because he seems like I don't know, maybe the lion has something going on in his head, maybe the emperor put some neurodivergence into that brain, but the lion has some social development issues. I mean,
it's not entirely clear in what order the emperor necessarily made the Primarchs. I think it's left to be assumed that the number they are is the order he made them in. So, at least to some interpretations, the lion was the first Primarch the emperor made.
Damn,
and
the first crack at it.
Yeah, and I think you kind of do see that. Like, he's often described as, especially in, like, 40K, like, he is martially perfect. Like, it's hard to say what the exact rankings are for combat ability for each Primarch, especially when there's fucking 20 of them. Compared to each other, and they all have their own talents. But it is
power ranking.
It is often described. The lion is often described as probably the most perfect warrior. Like he's the best in sword fighting. He is
that makes sense.
Often described as like the perfect general, like a tactical genius. He just has a perfect understanding of combat tactics and predictive analytics in combat, and also often described as, especially in this book, as one of the least human. Like he is, he really doesn't understand people, and so he is kind of that embodiment of the Emperor's vision of perfection that also is just fundamentally missing something.
And see, this is why I envision him as a Bara lion man.
A what?
A Bara lion man.
I have no idea what that is.
Like the Bara drawings, like the men with big pecs and stuff like that.
So obviously, I still don't know what that is. What?
It's a type of like Japanese style like yaoi drawing, stuff like that.
So no, I don't. I don't know what that
it's
is.
like muscular men with big tits. I'm
like Googling this and there's nothing coming up. What are you?
Bara.
How do you spell
Bara?
Yeah.
Nothing comes up when you Google Bara.
Nothing but actual lions when I look up Bara Lion Man.
Well, okay. I mean, I'm saying like he's a lion guy, but like
okay.
But Bara, like he looks like a lion, but Bara. I think I showed you a picture of Thomas Edison from Fate Grand Order. That's what I imagine the lion.
Okay.
I know that's wrong. I have a better image of my head of the
Yeah.
lion, actually. But my original image...
Okay. I feel like your brain was just designed to give 40K fans an aneurysm. You just are not physically capable of imagining anything the way they want you to imagine things.
I'm trying. That's the thing. I'm trying.
Yeah, and I'm not saying you're bad or wrong. I'm just saying it is wild how far off you always are in your prediction.
You know, the story in my head is much better than what they're trying to convey. I'm just going to say that. I guess.
Yeah. Are we ready for the Zahariel half of the story?
Yes, let's do the Zahariel half. Now, this is a summary.
Yeah.
Caliban. 50 years in the past, Luther leads the new training regiment with Zahariel as the second in command. Other undesirables in the Legion are sent to Caliban in exile. Now in the present, rebellion breaks out on Caliban. Master Nemiel, Zahariel's teacher, goes off to die since he has reached the age. Zahariel is visited by the Watchers again, telling him that he is too late to save Caliban. Luther is hesitant to send out Dark Angels, instead keeping him at Elderuk. The new mysterious Lord of Ciphers sets up a parley with Luther and the rebel leaders. Zahariel is shocked that a former knight, Sardaviel, is part of
Sardaviel.
It is Sardaviel. Why did I say Sardaviel? Sardaviel is funny. At a factory, a whole labor force and a scout force disappear without any word. Zahariel and Astalan, remember the door maker, investigate the place. They find runes in the basement of the library, along with evil chaos millipedes. They blow up the plant after they kill the queen. Luther orders that everyone keeps quiet so Caliban doesn't get destroyed by the Imperium for its taint. They also learned that the North Wilds Arcology, formerly realm of the Knights of Lupus, is teeming with chaos taint. Terran sorcerers are doing magical rituals to summon a creature dubbed Ouroboros. Luther, like all dads in this world, isolates himself as everything gets worse. Zahariel forces the new cipher to set up another meeting with the rebel leaders. It is revealed that not only is Master Nemiel alive, he is also another leader of the rebellion. He in turn tells Zahariel that the new cipher is actually the last surviving member of the Knights of Lupus. According to Nemiel, the new cipher and Johnson knew about the taint on Caliban and decided to keep it a secret from everyone. Luther is found in the basement of the fortress, studying the old tome from the fortress of Lupus, and is informed that the Northern Wilds Arcology is in big trouble. When Sardaviel brings up the name of the attempted assassin of the Emperor, Zahariel remembers the Emperor erasing a conversation in his mind. Luther and Zahariel subdue the Terran Astartes and arrest the other Terran administrators as they stop the taint of the North Wilds Arcology. They assault the sorcerers and stop their ritual. However, Luther has Zahariel attempt to bind the demon that they are summoning. They ultimately fail since Luther doesn't know the name of the demon, and it kills Zahariel. And then we can talk about the epilogue later.
Yeah. It air quotes kills Zahariel.
Air quotes kills Zahariel. I was stunned when it happened. I won't lie.
Yeah, you're stunned when it happens, and then you immediately get the Chewbacca reveal that. Oh,
it's
just kidding.
So crazy.
Just kidding. Literally immediately, and then Zahariel died. Just kidding. No, he's not. He's not dead. Ha! Got you. Yeah. It's like what?
Don't you want to turn that page, idiot?
Yeah.
And then pulls the Kylo Ren. Well, he did actually die.
Yeah.
Your parents wanted to pretend to be nobody, and so I thought they were.
I do I do really like this half of the book.
This is probably some of the best Warhammer stuff ever. That I've
completely
read.
agree.
Like,
this is the nuance I have been looking for in a traitor story. Like this is, and I think of all the traitor stories we will read, this is one of the ones that does it the best. Like I said, like Luther did nothing wrong. I think from his perspective, he is an absolute hero and a real fucking human being. And I think something I love about it is like Zahariel is frustrated throughout this entire half of the book that Luther refuses to deploy the Astartes against Calibanites. We find out pretty early in the Zahariel half of the book that Luther has been covering up an open rebellion. Like, he has been hiding it from the Imperium at large and his fellow Astartes on Caliban for like a year. Like, there's been an open rebellion for a year when Zahariel finally gets wind of it, basically. And he, throughout the entirety of the rebellion, refuses to commit Astartes to the battle until Zahariel forces his hand.
Yeah.
And I love that. Like, Luther is, if he really is an agent of the Imperium, if he is a member of the Legion, he has no reason not to deploy the Astartes. And the governor and the tech adept in charge of Caliban are just flustered and flabbergasted as to why Luther will not deploy his Space Marines. And it's because he's right. Like, it's because the rebels are right. They often make the claim, the Imperium showed up and then they raped our planet. They destroyed our forests. They've literally obliterated our mountains and turned them into holes in the ground. Smog is everywhere. There's horrible weather patterns taking place, like massive climate change. The beauty of our world is obliterated, and all of our young men are being sucked up into the armies or into the Space Marine legions to be shipped off and never seen again. Like, every single aspect of life on Caliban is worse now. And then the more you learn about how our ecologies are working, like the new places where people are being herded in to live, the new hive cities, it gets even worse. The only thing that's been improved is like healthcare and education. And one of the rebel leaders points out pretty early on, the only reason our healthcare and education are better is because it makes us better workers who are easier to exploit.
Yep.
And I love all of that. These rebels are rebels not because they just want power, although there is some of that nuance in there too. Like, some of the rebel leaders are just grumpy nobles who wish they could have their peasants back.
Well, also the leaders are grumpy nobles who want their peasants back and grumpy nobles who want the planet to be free, and then knights. There isn't a common person still, which is another interesting aspect of this book. I think it's kind of a bit of a shortcoming that there isn't that peasant perspective still. Sure. Especially for Caliban, which peasants are supposed to be important, as we're told.
Yeah.
I also had a passage for the weather stuff about Caliban.
Sure.
A thick bank of gray clouds was rolling ponderously towards the site from the south, carrying with it the threat of a storm. The weather had grown increasingly wild and unpredictable over the years as the Imperium transformed the surface of the planet and filled the skies with plumes of smoke from their manufactories. Why did I say manufactories? Weird. Magos Bosk and the rest of the Administratum insisted that the changes were nothing to be concerned about. Zahariel eyed the looming clouds warily and wondered if Magos Bosk had ever conducted a squad-level skirmish in a raging gale. I like how instantly, like, how does this affect training, though? This is bad, but how does this affect troop morale? Still keeping the Astartes perspective, but making it very clear that this shit is evil as fuck.
Yeah. Just so many good reveals in this half of the book. So many interesting little bits. I love in the prologue that Luther, again, we're not just told he's the most charismatic guy ever. He He united Caliban. What a hero through his charisma. It's not that direct characterization. We get the indirect characterization. He shows us his charisma. He tells his troops, everybody's downcast and sad because they've been exiled. We haven't been exiled. We're just here to increase the production of troops. And all in Nemiel and his cohort of soon-to-be Astartes are all, cowed and terrified because, oh my god, the second in command of the entire legion has been sent back to make us better at training troops. We must be fucking up. The lion must be mad at us. And Luther's like, I'm not here to train troops better. I'm just here to help train more troops. You guys are doing a great job, and we're all going to rejoin the Great Crusade, and it's going to be swell. I'm so proud of you guys. And everybody, cheers, and they're so excited. And then Zahariel's like, hey, man, that was a good move. Thanks for letting us know. Truth be told, we've all been pretty down about being exiled. It's good to know we're going back to war eventually. And Luther turns him. He's like, nah, dude, I made that up.
I lied.
The crusade is over, dog. Yeah. I like that. I like... I had a second thing I was going to bring up, but we can just cut this because I forgot it.
I just love that we're going to rejoin the Crusade soon. All right, smash cut to 50 years later.
Yeah, 50 years later. Zahariel writing a report to the Lion, and we doubled the production of this, and we've shortened the time on that, and we're sending you new swords, and we're sending you new Jaeger troops, and I just want to point out that not a single legion has been able to produce as many Astartes as flawlessly with as few casualties as we have. We're your bestest boys. Please, please, please take us back, but most especially, please take back Luther. He deserves it. He's such a good boy.
Well, my favorite part is he doesn't ask to take them back, just Luther. The message is only about Luther.
Yeah. Well, he says we're all eager to rejoin you, but if you can only take back one, let it be Luther.
Yeah, I just don't think. Yeah, I think Zahariel only does it because of Luther, because he just sees how sad the guy is without his bud.
Sure.
Everyone's so sad at Alderrook right now. It's depressing.
Yeah. And for good reason. I mean, they've been, you think about it, these dudes lived their entire lives to save and free this planet from the horrible monsters that oppress it, to unite the knightly orders under one common banner, so there's not this constant civil unrest and war between city-states. And that literally the moment they achieve their live stream and the goal of cleaning up Caliban, the Imperium shows up and makes everything 100 times worse. And now they're forced to sit there on their home planet that they liberated that is now 100 times worse, and they're not even allowed to go do the thing that they were reforged as living beings and sentient creatures to do, go to war. They're not even allowed to do that. And so, yeah, everybody's sad. Everybody's miserable. This sucks. And you can really see, that building up into a genuine rebel state within the Astartes. And again, what I love about this is these guys have personal reasons to be traitors. It's not because my Primarch said so and I'll just do what he says. It's not because we want more power and fuck the bureaucrats. It's not just because chaos is tempting and we're listening to chaos. We have real human reasons to say fuck the Imperium, and we as Astartes, separate from our Primarch and separate from Warp Taint, are deciding that the Imperium is not a good thing, actually. I don't know. I love that. I love seeing that. I think it proves that the Imperium's collapse was inevitable, regardless of Horus falling, regardless of the broader chaos taint in the galaxy. People are just naturally going to rebel against this authoritarian society.
Look, you don't have to have chaos taint to work here, but it helps.
Yeah.
I mean, also, to be fair, we do have the looming Luther tries to bind a demon aspect of it all, though.
I mean, yes, we do, but even then, of all the people we're going to see try to bind demons in this series, this dude has, the best reasons for it. He doesn't like that there's a demon inhabiting the core of his planet, and
No,
that
who
is
would?
completely inseparable from his homeworld.
You'd have
But
to be a
he
real
also-
sicko to like that.
But he also recognizes that unless we have access to that power or control or some influence over that, then it doesn't matter. We won't be able to resist the Imperium. So we have no other choice. This is the one source of power we have that could protect us from the Imperium. So we got to do what we got to do, and we're not going to bow to it. We're not going to do what it tells us. We're gonna try and control it ourselves.
Do you think this would have gone differently if they sent John Grammaticus from the Cabal instead of just the Watchers?
Yeah, it would have failed even worse. Useless idiot that he is.
Fucking moron. Sometimes I think about
yeah.
John Grammaticus and I laugh.
Yeah, the Watchers make their return to talk to Zahariel. Another really dark moment. They just tell him, "Nah, dude, it's too late, dude. It's too late.
Sorry,
This planet, yeah, I'm sorry. This planet is fucked, and humans. We were like, you guys were like a maybe for us anyway. Like in the Cabal, they're like, you guys really suck, and we don't like you, and you were like made to be corrupted by chaos." So sorry, but you're just kind of fucked, dude.
Yeah, real bummer.
It is a real bummer.
I like the Cabal showing back up, and I probably could have put together in Legion. What was that? The book 7. That the Watchers were the Cabal, but I'm glad they came back so I could go, oh right, duh.
Yeah. I think they do use the word Cabal in Fall of Angels or Descent of Angels, but I think it's just like they don't say we are part of the Cabal. I think they just say we're in a Cabal, or something like that.
And I could have put it together then, but I didn't remember the Watchers used that word, and so here we are.
Yep, here we are. The Reaver Worms. The Chaos Centipedes.
Hell yeah. Millipedes.
Interesting.
They rule.
Millipedes. Yeah. Many-legged, segmented, scaly, serpentine creatures with big mandibles who psychically infect and parasitize people to turn them into zombies and larval hosts for their young Reaver worm forms.
Should I read the passage of them possessing bodies?
Yeah.
Because I think it's probably some of the gnarliest stuff in this series.
Yep.
The worms would wrap themselves around their victim's neck, driving their stinger into the prey's spine, injecting it with a tremendous amount of neurotoxin. The venom destroyed higher brain functions, leaving autonomic functions intact, and making the victim's nervous system hyperconductive. Still attached to the victim, the worm then secreted enzymes into the prey's spinal cord that gave it rudimentary control of its motor functions. The worm would then literally drive the prey back to its communal nest, where the still living victim would be injected with eggs by the nest's queen. Occasionally, the worms would find their way into fresh human graves and try to make off with the corpse, much to the horror of the deceased's relatives. His skin crawled at the thought of the worm that had clamped onto his helmet and the dagger-like stinger that had tried to punch its way into the back of his skull. Creepy.
Yeah, they're pretty creepy. We get the initial battle scene when they first discover these chaos sorcerers, and there's one queen, and then there's a final battle scene when there are 8 queens or something like that.
So many queens.
A bunch of queens. I think it's interesting that the Chaos Sorcerers here are consistently described as Terrans.
Yep.
We don't get a lot of explanation or background for these Terran sorcerers either. Like, we don't hear their full plan explained to us, or every element of what they were doing or why they were doing it. We just find out that Terran sorcerers were trying to do this crazy ritual.
And it seems like they were trying to summon a demon. Or so it seems.
Right. I think that's an interesting note that it's Terrans. I love the sequences where Zahariel is learning about how horribly the Calibanites are being treated by their new Terran overlords. Like these new arcologies that people are being herded into. Whole dozens of villages and cities are being leveled to the ground and replaced with these giant megacities. And we find out that the locals are all being herded into the worst sectors of these megacities and are regularly being like denied electricity and power and plumbing and food.
Yeah, they're
And so
herded into
living
death camps, essentially.
Yeah, literally death camps, concentration camps within these megacities, which is feeding the demonic power of the planet. It's feeding the rituals of the sorcerers from Terra, and it's very grim. It's very dark. The Reaver worms are really yucky. I think those are the more interesting combat sequences in the book. Like the first one, the first battle with the first nest they encounter, I think is a pretty interesting one.
Also, Zahariel is a fire mage or lightning mage.
Yes, most psychers use like force lightning basically in Warhammer. It's them amplifying the electrical conductivity of their own nervous systems and projecting it basically.
Hell yeah. Lots of descriptions of the wires connecting into Zahariel's brain and like freezing, burn freezing.
Doing all the things that happen when psychic powers are used, where it gets really hot and there's frost forming and it smells like ozone. The warp always smells like ozone and flesh, like rotting flesh and ozone.
Those three oxygen molecules, atoms connecting to each other, getting some ozone.
Yeah.
That's chaos right there. I like the parlay scenes that happen. The first one with Zahariel being there.
And Alderuk,
being very... I like that both Luther and the Lion are just not giving full information to their second in commands. Yeah. There are some ways that Luther is also paralleling the Lion in the way that Luther isn't telling Zahariel like the real truth unless pressed.
Yeah, there are a lot of problems in both half of the story that are created by the secrecy that feels essential. Which is this is all playing along with what 40K fans know about 40K Dark Angels. They're secretive to the 40K Dark Angels are secretive to the point that it's constantly fucking them up. And they are also deeply, deeply ashamed and guilty of their very identities. And so, all of this is kind of building towards what 40K fans know about Dark Angels.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like Astalan being back.
Yeah, we get our short story dude.
Astalan Doormaker. That's what I'm just going to call him from now on.
And he's described as, despite being a Terran, arguably the most loyal person to Luther, because Luther immediately pulled him in tight when he gets this extra exile. I think like 50 years after they get exiled, he shows up. You
were hurt by Daddy too? Come here.
Yeah, I'm your daddy now.
I'm your cool dad.
Yeah. I actually raised your dad.
Fuck. Yeah. The one sentence summary: the Lion and Luther go through a divorce and split the children.
Yeah, there you go. That's it.
This is actually a divorce story. Holy shit.
This is a divorce story. Yes, you've nailed it.
There you go. God, I figured it out. I think this is why this worked for me. This is a divorce story.
That makes sense.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
God. Aslan was kicked out because he was being too crazy at Dad's place. Jesus.
Yeah. Well, he was standing up for rules that his stepdad taught him or something.
Right.
Yeah. Or he's a bit. Oh no, here's what it is. Aslan got kicked out because he's a big fan of Grandpa and.
We don't talk about Grandpa here.
Yeah, we don't talk about Grandpa. Yeah. Um, yeah. I'm your dad, not your grandpa's not your dad. I'm your dad. Yeah. Yeah, and then so are we ready to kind of transition into our discussion of the epilogue now, I think?
I kind of want to talk about how like the
beats?
rebellion leaders is kind of underwhelming again, just a little bit. I was thinking about the second parlay where they have the short tense standoff because the two noblemen who want peasants again decide to ambush Zahariel, basically.
Yeah, we'll use you as a hostage, and then we'll get whatever we want. Just clearly not understanding anything about how the Astartes operate or what they're capable of.
Well, and they have a melt-a-gun in the enclosed room. Or plasma gun, sorry. I
they don't even know how their own weapons work. Yeah.
Yep.
Because, as Zahariel points out, if you fire that thing in this tiny little space, we all die, you idiots. Yeah. A weird little moment there that is dispelled by the reveal that Nemiel is still alive. The old man.
I wasn't expecting that. That did genuinely shock me.
I was only because after we find out Nemiel has marched off into the woods, he's mentioned again. Oh, I wish Nemiel is here, but he's gone now, is how it's described. True. And so I was like, okay, so he's coming back. Yeah, he was never seen again. Oh, so he's still alive. But yeah, it's a good reveal moment there. And it's a great moment because Nemiel, like one of the people who helped train the Lion, is now a traitor. One of the leaders of the traitors.
Yep.
That's a good reveal. Because Nemiel has only ever been represented as a good guy throughout the first book and then this one.
Got passed up
well
for Lord
respected
Cypher.
by everyone. Yep.
Because
passed
the Lion gave it to some schmuck? ? Okay, so this is something I'm actually having trouble understanding.
Okay, I can explain this because it makes perfect sense why the Lion did this, I think.
Yeah, I'm like confused on why.
So
ultimately.
The Lion chose the last living member of the Knights of Lupus to be the new Lord Cypher because the Knights of Lupus are obsessed with warp taint. They understand the planet itself better than any other faction. And so this is all important knowledge, and knowledge is power. That's a term you hear a couple times, I think, in this book.
Mechanicum says this.
You'll hear it throughout the whole series. Yeah, knowledge is power. The Lion knows this very well. He wants access to that knowledge. Yes, he has the library, but he also wants the lived experience. And more importantly, as Zahariel points out, the Lord Cypher is, in charge of all the traditions of the Order. He is in charge of all the secret knowledge, and the Lion wants someone who is exclusively loyal to him. That is why he chose this guy, because he is the only person who knows for sure that this guy is actually a Knight of Lupus, who is technically an outlaw and should have been executed. That guy is now forced to be permanently loyal to the Lion, or he will be revealed and killed. And so the Lion has exclusive access to this extra knowledge and total control over the future of all traditions of the Order.
But then why does the Cypher help Luther?
That is the question.
Okay. This is the thing, because I don't understand where the actual allegiances of the Cypher maybe lies. Maybe that's really what my issue is. But I don't know why the Lion even trusts this motherfucker.
So this makes sense. Let me explain another thing for you that 40K fans would be like, okay, duh, yeah. Cypher is a 40K character.
Okay, never mind. All right.
And the entire, literally the beginning and end of what you need to know in Cypher, about Cypher in 40K is nobody knows if he's a loyalist or a traitor. That's what we know about Cypher in 40K. He plays an incredibly important part in the current narrative. Like when the current narrative went through its big major shift 8 years ago. When Primarch started coming back to 40K, Cypher was essential to that plot moving forward. And it's still not entirely understood how or why. He does some big, crazy, important things, and then Anyway, so Cypher is this big, powerful, almost completely unknown quantity in 40k. It's not even known if 40k Cypher is this Cypher, by the way.
This is so fucking funny. 40k is amazing. Especially reading it this way is so funny. Every time it's like, oh, this character that you're just kind of like, what's his deal? It's like, oh, he has a whole deal. I'm just getting glup shittoed like constantly by this series.
So yeah, Cypher is in 40k, and we don't know almost anything about him in 40k, and that is why we get to know almost nothing about him in this book.
Perfect.
Yep.
That's amazing. So they try to bind a demon?
Yeah, Ouroboros, the Ouroboros, the snake that eats its own tail.
These fucking snakes right away. Yeah. Jesus, like you're summoning a giant millipede and it's named after a snake. What are we doing here?
The concept of Ouroboros is what inhabits this planet, by the way. Like this is the Ouroboros, but its true name we don't know, and that's why Luther can't find it. Yeah.
That's the title it has. It was given by the sorcerers as Ouroboros, but what is its real name? Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? And
definitely not a dead guy.
Yeah. Now, what's interesting here? Because are we ready to get into the epilogue now?
Yeah, I guess we can get into the epilogue.
Yeah.
Then we can.
So Zahariel's half is he dies. The Ouroboros is not bound, but it is kind of banished, even though it's also simultaneously a part of Caliban itself. And then we find out Zahariel is not dead, actually. He just got put into a coma for a while. He's woken back up. A lot has changed, as Luther tells him. The Horus Heresy, word of the Horus Heresy happening has reached Caliban, and it sounds like Luther is planning on joining Horus so that they can remain outside of the Imperium.
Rip. I'm sure Horus will try to make another worse Imperium.
Right. And and Zahariel also, we find out Ouroboros is inside of him. Or at least part of it is. He is at least partially possessed by Ouroboros. Which is something that you see at the very end of the ritual. Like at the very end of that scene, Ouroboros tries to possess Zahariel, and apparently has partially succeeded.
And Zahariel just says, "Nah, I don't know his name.
Yeah,
don't know who that is.
Yeah,
sorry, just lie to Luther.
Sorry." And hey, interestingly,
gonna try again.
What is it? I don't think it's Astalan. It's Zahariel's old buddy from like who he trained with.
Attius.
Yeah, yes, Attius or whatever.
Attius.
Yes, he tells him, "Yeah, we don't really know how he did it, but Luther brought you back to life after you were dead for 5 minutes."
Yup.
Yeah, I don't really know how he did it, but he did it. Luther, who is now not a psyker, but a master of warp ceremonies, basically.
He has a book now. He's reading from a book.
Yeah, he has a book. A terrible book, as Sardaviel puts it. Those terrible books. Because there is one sequence we skipped where Sardaviel talks to Zahariel about how, when we first liberated the Knights of Lupus Castle, and Sardaviel was too wounded, so he couldn't leave the grounds right away. They helped him unload the library of the Knights of Lupus to ship it back to Alderuk, the Order's fortress monastery. He says we were looking at all these books and they were full of terrible things, horrible things, black magic, and it was just so awful. Those terrible, horrible books, terrible books. It doesn't really describe what's horrible, terrible about them. They're just terrible books. And now Luther has one of those books.
Well, that, and they drove the other knight mad to the point where he was the one that tries to assassinate the emperor in the first book.
That's right. Yeah.
And this is where we get a new emperor fact of mine. The Emperor loves to mind wipe people.
Yes, he does. And that, I think that's going to start coming up a lot.
I feel like that's
more.
important.
Yeah, it's very important. It's very important, and it's going to keep coming back, is that the Emperor has done this many times to many people, almost always for the worst. He just mind wipes people.
Why does he do this? Why does he exactly do this? I was a little unclear about that. It seems like he was doing it because it's like
because
mildly
we cannot
embarrassing.
we cannot let it leak that there was internal turmoil within the Legion.
God, this is just PR management.
Yes,
Jesus
purely.
Christ.
And it always is. Every time the Emperor does this, it's it's either there's a horrible cursed warp secret that nobody is
fuck.
Smart enough to understand, according to the Emperor, or it's for PR. And
if the Emperor didn't do this, Zahariel wouldn't have turned.
Right. So, probably not. Yeah. Zahariel tries really hard to remain loyal to the Imperium throughout his entire half of the book. And it basically is until that revelation that his mind was wiped that he fully is like, okay, no, let's just do what Luther says.
It's a real straw that breaks the camel's back situation.
Yeah. Because
he's like, you guys can't keep bodying me like this and expect me to still stay loyal. What the fuck, guys?
Yeah. So, interesting thing here. I have not read all of the Horus Heresy books, so it might come up here or there in one or two or a short story or something that I'm missing. But this is a 40K piece of knowledge. The full falling out between Luther and the Lion, that is, Luther is pretty clearly taking a side here, right? Like there is going to be a confrontation between the Lion and Luther, right? That doesn't happen until after the Horus Heresy.
No.
Yes. That does not happen until after the Horus. In the lore, it is a post-heresy confrontation.
That can't.
Yes.
But I just read... Are there more...
This is book 11 of a 55-book series. They set this up with this huge cliffhanger. Faden, I am telling you, the Lion does not confront Luther until after the Horus Heresy.
But is there a third Dark Angels book?
I don't think so.
No, that can't be
right. I don't think so.
You can't...
I'm pretty damn sure there is not.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. Why would anyone make it like this? Why would anyone do this?
I don't
to me,
know
specifically.
But
why would anyone do this to me?
Again, this is something every 40K fan, especially Dark Angels fan, walking into these two books knew this. We all knew that the Luther and Lion, their big confrontation is post Horus Heresy.
But in the Horus Heresy, we have to have Nemiel and Zahariel face off,
right?
Like they have to rejoin and have some sort of conflict and either like go separate ways or reconcile.
And I'll tell you, we are certainly not done with the Lion story. Like, we are gonna keep coming back to the Lion. The Lion is very, very important to the Horus Heresy. Very, very, very important. But I am pretty... unless I'm missing a short story or something somewhere, we literally do not come back to Zahariel and Luther. My memory and knowledge is that this is... literally, the book where they confront each other has not been written yet, to the best of my knowledge. It's going to be a part of the Scouring series, this new series that's post Horus Heresy. It's probably going to be part of that.
I just need to say this.
Yeah.
I'm the point in my mind mentally that I'm at, combined with the information you just bodied me with. I just mildly disassociated.
Isn't it wild? This is book 11 of the series. This book was published almost 20 years ago. This book was published 17 years ago.
And they don't want to go back?
And they knew that they would not be going back. They knew that unless they do and after the Horus Heresy, in the middle of the Horus Heresy, they knew this was not going to come up again. Isn't that crazy?
Sorry, I realize I can't just lean back in my chair and not say anything for a podcast.
I knew that was gonna mess with you. Yeah, that's crazy, right?
Sucks. This fucking sucks.
Especially because these are like the best books we've read. Like this is the most interesting story. This is I think the most like traitor story, the most heresy story, the most like brothers betraying brothers story of a series that's ostensibly about exactly that. And
these are the perspectives
like
we've been getting the perspectives I wanted in these books for a bit now.
Yes.
Like, we've been getting those as we got more. But like this really distills why I think those sort of perspectives are useful, because they create interesting narrative tension. It is good that Zahariel is struggling with the Imperium and the traitor stuff for actual material reasons, as opposed to hee hee ho ho evil side or let's be good and noble side. And to not get more of that in this series.
Yeah, I just to be super sure, I just triple mega double checked, and the confrontation between Luther and the Lion takes place after the heresy.
Well, let's talk about the Lion scene.
Yeah. Which is great. It is great.
It's great. It's really funny. It's very obvious what's happening right away when they say the Lion is meeting with another Primarch.
The Primarch.
Ooh, the Primarch says this. The Primarch says that.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, obviously he's a traitor Primarch. Yep. I get it. But they really wait for that name drop, huh?
Yeah. So this scene plays out after Diomet has been saved. The traitor forces have finally been pushed off. And now the loyalists who have come to restock on their way to Istvan V, where they will surely crush Horus's rebellion. One of these legions is pulled up to Diomet to refuel and restock. Lion's like, oops, my bad. I had to blow up all the refueling and restocking stuff. But look at these big pretty siege guns I saved. Aren't I a tactical genius for knowing that Horus would eventually need these and deciding to cut straight to this spot right here, right now, so to cut them off ahead of time? Boy, I'm a tactical genius. And the other Primarch says, yes, you're a tactical genius. You're so smart. Wow, I'm really impressed. I guess you should have been the War Master. And
not even that. No, the Lion basically is like, well, so since Horus is a traitor, I mean, logically, there has to be a new War Master, right?
Yeah.
And let's be real. The only reason why Horus was War Master was because he was found first.
Yes.
If I was found first?
Yes.
It wouldn't even be a question.
Yeah, he almost literally says that. Like, if I had been found first, it's no question I would have been War Master. Duh.
It's so good.
He's so good.
So
prideful.
And
so petty. And
tiny.
And the only
He's such
reason
a small man.
And literally we find out his true deep motivation for securing these siege guns, it wasn't even necessarily that it's necessary for the campaign that will inevitably follow all of this for us to secure these weapons. It's, I need to prove I'm worthy of being the War Master, and by doing this, I will be able to prove that I am worthy of being War Master. Like, that's the real deep motivation for this move. And I
love Succession. What a great show.
Right? And he hands off these siege weapons to the other Primarch, asking only that they be used well, and that Primarch support him in the inevitability of there being a second named War Master. And who is
when
this?
Dad gets us together.
Who is
please
this
vote for
Primarch?
me.
He's come to deliver the siege engines to.
Obviously, the ever loyal Perturabo.
Perturabo, the Lord of Iron, who is
so funny.
Yeah, an arch traitor. It's awesome. Yeah, it's great. So
it's
all
good.
that fighting, that is a really grim, dark moment. This whole novel goes down, all this brutality, all this fighting, all this sacrifice, all these near misses, and all so that we can deliver these essential weapons to the Siege of Terra right into the hands of the traitors. It's great. Yeah, great move.
That's fucking fallen angels.
And the siege weapons will come back. It's just Luther won't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yep.
I'm glad you told me this.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
I
thought about saying it right away. I thought about not saying it at all, but I'm glad I did, because I don't want you sitting through this entire fucking series waiting for Luther to come back, only to find out that we will never see him again.
I would be so sad.
Yeah.
Now I don't gotta expect anything, I guess.
Yeah. Yep. There it is.
There it is. That's Fallen Angels.
That's Fallen Angels.
Good book. Well, one of the best that we read. Straight up, I think.
I think it has some of the best plot points of all the books we've read, and I think it does.
Now, do I wish it was written better?
Yeah, I think
yes.
I think there are some great moments. I do think there are some great moments, great characters, and again, like I really appreciate nuance in this series. You either need to go all out action star, summer blockbuster movie, or slice of grim dark life short story, or you really need to explore the nuances of these positions. Like, those are your options with Warhammer, or it's going to be a disaster. And if you try to muddle any 2 or 3 of these things together, it becomes not much of a fun read. That's book 11. Next month, we will hit our 12th episode, 1 full year of Warhammer podcasting.
That's so true.
Yeah.
What a great book to hit the year mark with, huh?
Yeah, the next one, 1,000 Suns. Graham McNeill, who is
we're back to Graham,
becoming one of our favorites to read. Not necessarily our favorite author, but a favorite.
One of our favorites to read.
Yeah.
Parentheses Derogatory.
Yes. And now 1,000 Suns is a book I have read several times. I have always enjoyed it. I'm sure
sorry
I'm gonna.
You have to come to the wall that is me and my strange Warhammer opinions.
Well, I'm sure we're going to encounter things that I'll be seeing with fresh eyes as I read this again for our podcast. But I will say this: it's very much a Graham McNeill book, in all the best and worst ways. But I think what I've always loved about 1,000 Suns is just its interesting concepts. Like, there are just really this is going to be our most ritual and most magical book we've read so far. We deal with the warp more in 1,000 Suns than in any of the other books we've read so far.
Should I read the back of the cover description?
Do it.
Censured at the Council of Nicaea for his flagrant use of sorcery, Magnus the Red and his 1,000 Sons Legion retreat to their homeworld of Prospero to continue their use of the arcane arts in secret. But when the ill-fated Primarch foresees the treachery of War Master Horus and warns the Emperor with the very powers he was forbidden to use, the Master of Mankind dispatches fellow Primarch, Leman Russ, to attack Prospero itself. But Magnus has seen more than the betrayal of Horus, and the witnessed revelations will change the fate of his fallen legion and its Primarch forever.
Yes. This is one of the most important stories in the series as a whole, in terms of moving the overall plot forward. And it's going to give us a lot more context for really important elements of the Imperium.
I have heard, Council of Nicaea was one of the few Warhammer terms I knew before starting this podcast.
Yeah.
It is something I've heard before, but I would always say Council of Nicaea because
that's the real version.
That's the real version.
Yes. Yeah. It's it will certainly be an interesting read. I'm excited to hear what you think.
I'm so
of it.
excited.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to revisit Red Wolf Boy.
Yeah.
Horus, don't bark, bark. Horus, don't bark, bark. What other magical tricks does he have up his sleeve?
Well, I'm excited for you to see. I'm excited to get Faden's answer to did Magnus do anything wrong?
Right, that's another meme.
Yeah, it's the meme. Yeah, Magnus did nothing wrong.
I believe I said in the podcast episode, yeah, he turned into a wolf instead of something reasonable.
And so I think we've already got an idea how you're going to come down on this debate. But yeah, it'll be a fun one. Thanks everybody for listening. Come back to us. Anything you wanna plug, Faden?
Just follow me on Blue Sky. If you have a chance to share this show with someone, please do. We are, entirely word of mouth / what if you find us inadvertently on whatever algorithm. Give us 5 stars because I put a lot of work into this fucking stuff. I always say fucking shit, but like I like it, so whatever.
Yeah,
it's stuff. When I like it, it's stuff.
Yeah. We're doing something here, folks, and we appreciate you doing it with us.
I can't believe they're extending the project's length by adding a sequel series. I'm just like,
can you really not believe it, or are you just frustrated by it?
I'm not frustrated.
Yeah,
but I would have thought 64 books would be enough books to tell the tale of the Horus Heresy. But you know what? Maybe I was wrong.
Not when
maybe you need a sequel
money
series
to be made. Yeah. Well, it's enough to tell the heresy because the heresy's done. The heresy's done by the end of the books. It's just the aftermath of the heresy.
Yes, but the way the book is labeled, it's like the Horus Heresy, the Scourge.
Yeah, the Scouring.
So
yeah.
The Scouring, whatever. I don't know. The Scouring of the Shire. So we got to get that. We got to get to the Scouring of the Shire before we can finish off this series.
And we will get there.
Until then, have a great time, everyone. Goodbye.
Yep, I love you. Goodbye.